Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Inferno. Heading into the screening, I kind of felt like this is the sequel that nobody was really asking for. While I thought the DaVinci Code was good, I can't even really remember the sequel and what really happened in it. And I can't really say I was chomping at the bit to get back into this world. But the first two, Tom Hanks, Ron Howard, they were good, solid films. This one brought both of those back and added new talent, so I thought let's give it a shot. The trailers looked interesting, but it still never really got on my radar as something I was super excited to see. And in the end, it turned out kind of just an alright movie. So let's go ahead and start with the positives first. First of all, Tom Hanks always delivers a strong, solid performance. This definitely isn't his best. It's not up to the level of his performance in Sully by any means, but he's good just by being on the screen, honestly. I mean, the guy is a great actor. He knows how to just bring so much to every role he interprets. I also thought Felicity Jones was really, really good. She was a welcomed addition to the cast. I thought that she brought a lot of nuance to her character as well, and a lot of comedy to the film. Also, big props to Omar Sy. He continues to get work in really nice franchise films, from Jurassic World to X-Men. Now he's here in Inferno, and he was very good in this movie. I really enjoyed watching him, and I thought he played his part very well. As did Irfan Khan, who I am growing to really, really love. He was amazing in The Life of Pi. He's been pretty much amazing in everything I've seen him in, speaking of Jurassic World. But he always is great. He brings some sort of sophistication to every role he gets, and I thought he was really, really good here as well. And I have to say, just across the board, the acting was really strong, and it was a strong for the film. Also, our main puzzle and our main storyline that we were supposed to be following, more about that later, is fun. It is what the original DaVinci Code was kind of structured on, mixed in with Angels and Demons from that second movie, and we get Inferno. But I think that in many ways they did a good job of blending that all together. Plus, all of the historical context of the film is still wonderful. They really teach you a lot, they explain a lot, and it's fun to kind of see these artifacts and these places. So that's a big plus to these DaVinci Code films. But that's kind of where my positives end and where my negatives begin. So a big problem is that there's just too much. They shoved so much into this movie, and there are so many different players that it's hard to not only keep track, it's hard to really comprehend what it is that you just watched. There's this group vying for it, and there's that group, and then there's this person, and then there's that person, but wait, maybe this person's not who you think they were. Oh, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There's just so many different things that it's impossible to kind of keep track of what it is you're watching, who is on what team, and where did they come from. It just is so much. And that kind of just goes for the entire script. I don't think the script was all that great dialogue-wise, and it was really weak when it came to just putting forth a good story. Instead of having a lot of forward momentum, we are constantly going back and filling in the blanks. It's like a coloring book. Instead of flipping the page and reading on, you're sitting coloring in the things that happened in the past. And things that happened in the past that we don't really need to go back and fill in. All of this backstory is really just part of a plot device that has Tom Hanks lose his memory. So he can't remember exactly what's going on, and while he's forward moving to figure out this mystery, which I think would have been the right way to go, is just keep in there, we're constantly going back and trying to figure out, well, what happened here with Tom Hanks? Okay, cool. What happened here with Tom Hanks? Okay, cool. Let's go back and revisit this old storyline and love story, yada yada. And it's just too much. It's living so much in the past and figuring out what has already happened that it's hard to focus on what we're trying to move forward and still figure out in the present time. Plus, I thought, there were just 3 stories too many. As we continue to be introduced to new organizations and new players in the whole game here, we were also introduced to new storylines, new motives, people really acting this way or that way. And again, it just got too much. We don't need this love story, and we don't need flashbacks of this love story while we're also getting this agent story over here and this person's motives. It's all too much. They needed to water down all of that. And I think really they needed to just focus more on Tom Hanks figuring out what he was seeking to figure out. And I'm gonna say, don't watch the trailers for this film if you have any intention of seeing it. One of the very first trailers they released has a huge spoiler in it. Just a huge spoiler that I'm shocked that they let be out in, the advertising. So there's a really big reveal in the movie, and one of the trailers shows footage from after that reveal that just completely gives one of the biggest storylines away. And finally, I think this movie kind of suffers from some of what The Accountant suffers from. So as we're going back and filling in those lines and coloring in the picture, all of a sudden everything has to be tied together. Everybody has to be linked. And they just explain every little bit, and they have to make sure that every piece of this puzzle was part of somebody's plan, that it just gets ridiculous. It's like, oh, come on. Like, can't that just have happened on its own? Or, this doesn't really make sense. And in the end, the movie really struggles with what its main premise is, and that's solving a mystery, putting together pieces of a puzzle. Because as they're explaining all this backstory, you realize it's virtually impossible to have figured all these little pieces out. And honestly, those pieces are inconsequential. They didn't actually need to be explained at all, because we weren't really thinking, I wonder who was behind this. No, nobody was thinking that. As for the main, more interesting storyline that moves forward in its present day, it's also insolvable because we don't know the answers to these questions. Some people might. Some Dante's Inferno, fanatics, may know and be able to move along with the story. Unfortunately, the most of us don't know these historical facts, so it's impossible for us to kind of participate in the solving. So at least give us that fun storyline that makes it fun to watch them solve this problem. So overall, I think Inferno is just, okay. If you enjoyed the first 2 films, clearly you're going to want to see this one so you can see the continuation of the story. But I think you can definitely see it at a matinee. It's not worth a full price ticket, even if you're excited to see it. Otherwise, you can wait for this on rental. I don't think it's like a complete skip, but there's no need to go rush out and see Inferno. So, that has been my review of Inferno. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Inferno? Have you already seen it, for all of my overseas watchers? What did you think? And what are your thoughts on the DaVinci Code series, both book and film? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!